For 5 years, Walker Fowler has held the top spot in the ATV discipline of GNCC off-road racing. And as always, the field is stacked behind him. Can Bryson Neal, Chris Borich, Adam Gill, and others pull the championship away? The chase for the 2020 Grand National Cross Country Championship begins next.
Are you ready to go GNCC Racing?
Hello and welcome to the 2020 VP Fuels Big Buck GNCC round number 1 of the 2020 Grand National Cross Country Championship presented by Specialized and AMA National Championship. I'm Rodney Tomlin, and the key players are with us. The sophomore winner of last year's last round at Ironman, it was Hunter Hart, and of course another young gun there out of New York, Devin Feehan, and the oldest rider on the XC1 Pro Road there, that is Johnny Gallagher. He finished up 10th last season. And, of course, he celebrates his 26th season as an XC1 Pro Class rider. Bryson Neal back. He'll be riding the number 2 this year. And, of course, a classic favorite, the 521 of Adam McGill. But all eyes are going to be on Walker Fowler as he took the championship last year. As we said, Neal took the runner-up spot. Chris Borich, with 75 wins and 6 championships, took the number 3 ride. And, of course, each and every rider that we see out there are all gunning for this guy's position. Walker Fowler looking for championship number 6.
Yeah, so I'm actually pretty excited about Big Buck. It's one of our longer running tracks on the series, but we were not here last year due to the weather and it getting canceled and then rescheduling conflicts. We just never made it here. So I think having 2 years for the track to maybe heal up a little bit, and some of those little saplings had 2 years to grow, so now they're bigger trees, and maybe it tightens the whole woods back up. The weather's not ideal exactly, but it's definitely starting to shape up. It went from 2 inches of standing water and snow to, you can actually drive a motorhome through the pits now. So I think by our 2 o'clock start tomorrow, I think it'll be a really good start to the year. It'll be a great race, and hopefully the goal is to get out of here with a podium. Start with good points. You gotta stay consistent all year, so we definitely don't want to start out with a bad race. Just start out on the right foot and get the ball rolling. That's as soon as you can get some momentum. Momentum is key on the track and off the track. If you have the ball in your court, you just keep bouncing her to your goal.
It's a new season and a new life breathed into a lot of programs, including the 6-time GNCC champion of Chris Borich, who got himself a brand new ride.
Yeah, this year coming into the 2020 series, we made a big switch. We went to Phoenix Honda Racing this year. Definitely totally different program than what I'm used to. Obviously, I ran Suzuki's for a while, but we made the switch. Did a bunch of testing with it. Really happy with the way the team and everything's working. So looking forward to starting off here in Big Buck and see what we can do.
Well, obviously, those are 2 of the key players, but each and every one of these riders has an opportunity. 2 hours of racing, wood, sand, whooped out, deep ruts is what these riders are going to be facing. Also, some rain coming into the weekend may have softened up some of those areas, but you can't tell there was rainy conditions earlier this week by the looks of this start. Look how dusty things are as that young rookie, the 712 of John Gallagher, gets pushed out. Meanwhile, the number 1, Walker Fowler, taking the early lead in the whole shot. The 11 of Josh Merritt there in the number 2 spot. There is the sophomore of Hunter Hart, and he gets passed by the now number 3 of Chris Borich on that new Phoenix Honda racing ride. Looks like Cole Richardson off to a bad start, as was the number 2 of Bryson Neal. Out a little further down the trail, look at this already. The number 1 of Walker Fowler starting to stretch things out here as he puts a little bit of a gap between himself and now second place, the number 7 of Hunter Hart, who has passed up to the number 2 position. It looks like that is Borich back there, or Feehan actually, back in the number 3 spot with Borich back in the number 4 position. A little further down the trail, Walker Fowler over the famed Big Buck Creek jump. A little bit of a mistake there from him. It nearly hits that tree, slides it sideways, loses a little bit of time. Good thing he does have that gap because Hunter Hart didn't even see the mistake made or the line that he took as he takes a completely different line. Hart goes to the right side. We see several riders doing that kind of a split line there. But it all comes together right there, and it looks like the number 2, Bryson Neal, has moved up to the tail end of that pack as well to challenge. We head down to the XC2 Pro-Am start. taking a look at this one from the Yamaha Racing Skycam, and a good start here as it looks like the number 14 of Drew Landers, which is Walker Fowler's teammate on the WFR Landsmill XC Yamaha ride, grabs the early lead. He's got the number 703 of Austin Abney behind him, and as we check back with our pro riders, this is the way things started out. Remember how tight they were on lap number 1 right off the start, where XC2 Pro-Am just started moments ago? Well, things are already changing, and this is the way this first lap is starting to unfold. Walker Fowler, who was being shadowed there through the first few hundred yards, finds himself an opening and has started to stretch things out. Now the number 7, the young sophomore now, he took his win at the Ironman GNCC, the final round of racing last season, and he was hoping to be able to open up with a big race this year to prove to folks that he wasn't just a mud rider. And with a start like this, I believe that folks are going to start taking the young number 7 of Hunter Hart very serious after this VP Fuels Big Buck GNCC. Stick around. We'll see how it all unfolds after this. Coverage of the 2020 Grand National Cross Country Series on MAVTV is brought to you in part by Specialized Turbo E-Bikes. It's you, only faster. Rocky Mountain ATV MC, get ready. And by Yamaha, revs your heart. And welcome back to Union, South Carolina, the Turner Family Farm and the VP Fuels Big Buck GNCC Round 1 of GNCC Racing, where Walker Fowler here on lap number 2 has already amassed a near 45-second lead over the second place ride. The young sophomore of Hunter Hart, again, last year's last race winner at the Ironman GNCC. He's got a whole host of riders behind him now, of course, including Jared McClure, Chris Borich, also John Glotta, and Cole Richardson back there in the pack. Also Bryson Neal back there, Wesley Wolf, the whole contingency back behind that second place battle as they are all trying to lay chase to the number 1 of Walker Fowler, as we said, who is beginning to stretch things out at 45 seconds over the rest of the field, now approaching nearly a minute as we approach the halfway point of lap number 2 now. A little bit of changes back there in that 3rd and 4th place positions, as it looks like Feehan and McClure, and now Chris Borch back in the number 5 position. And as we look just a little further back, there is the number 2 of Bryson Neal. Neal getting off to a rough start out there, able to catch the rest of the pack back and now try to lay chase to him. A little different look there that time around. Second time around for Walker Fowler by the creek jump. Remember last time he hit that tree and kind of stuttered for just a few moments before able to get it back and rolling, but it didn't seem to slow his momentum down any whatsoever. May have lit a fire under his tail to get a little bit more of that distance between himself and the rest of the field, because Walker Fowler knows, like anyone else out here on the trail, these first couple of laps, things may be a little bit easier, but as the race wears on, lap traffic starts to be quite a bit of an issue. And when it does, things can sometimes start to tighten up, and you never know what you can expect, especially in this first round of racing, and what these riders are going to be bringing at you. There is Hunter Hart going wide once again, and McClure trying to take advantage of that now into the number 3 position. And there is the number 4 now of the Cole train, Cole Richardson, as he has picked up the pace quite a bit and moved now into a number 6 position himself. So here's 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th place positions, nose to tail, as they traverse their way here through the South Carolina woods. This red clay, if you will, it's got a lot of sand in it, and as you can see, it's very soft this time of year, and those ruts are starting to get very, very deep, and they could begin to cause a little bit of an issue for riders as this race wears on. But right now, riders seem to be getting through A-OK. As we check back a little bit further, and I believe this may be our, that is that is the 7. No, I thought that was our rookie, but that's actually the 701 of Greg Covert of our XC1 Pro Class riders back there in the 10th place position. Now, he finds a little bit of an issue there, it looks like, with those ruts we were talking about, but other parts of the course maybe not nearly as deep, and that's what we were talking about, softer areas of the racetrack than others, and a lot of roots starting to be exposed as well, as I think we're running some newer trails here, and like Walker Fowler mentioned in the early part of this, a couple of years for this land to heal after we didn't come here last year, so maybe some new opportunities for these riders. Got to give it to the young gun there, the number 7 of Hunter Hart. still keeping pace there in that number 2 position, starting to open things up over the rest of the field. There's McClure we saw back there. Chris Porch is back there still. And there is that number 4 right there at the tail end of that pack in that 6th place position. Cole Richardson, he could be a threat. Stick around. We'll find out how much. Welcome back to GNCC on MAVTV. I'm Rodney Tomlin, and this is the VP Fuels Big Buck GNCC. And rolling into the weekend, we had a chance to roll into the local Union County Elementary School for a school visit, an anti-bullying campaign that GNCC started a few years ago that involves kids in the seminar and, of course, gives them an opportunity to have a little bit of fun at the same time. Riders from the GNCC circuit like Jeremy Ladon, also Cameron Abey, even Taylor Jones from the WXC motorcycle racing world, the defending champion, made her way out this week. And, of course, Walker Fowler making his way down the VP Fuels Pro Row and getting himself a little splash of gas here. And, of course, no senses of urgency. A little different look to the WFR team as well as they added the Lansmill XC to that and also bringing along Drew Landers, who was already mechanic by Mark Nauman. Looks like trouble for the Gator. Adam McGill out of this one, and I'm not sure what the issue would be. I don't know if it's a breather problem. And look who else is out. Former third-place ride, the 406 of New York's Devin Feehan, out of this one, already dressed and ready to head back north. He is frustrated, you can tell. Walker Fowler, in the meantime, has found himself in amongst some lap traffic. He talked about this as well, and this is why he wants that big lead. Well, a couple of different reasons why he wants a big lead, so he can get through that lap traffic without much issue, and also so these other riders can't see some of the secret lines that Walker knows how to take. There's something about Walker's lines. He can ride 6 inches to the left, 6 inches to the right, and find a smoother line out there, and somehow or another, just he totally eclipses other riders on the racetrack. One rider, though, that we see has been making up some time, Bryson Neal, a broken chain for that rider. He was all the way up to a second-place position. He'd gotten around Hunter Hart and already now out of the race. So a tough break there for him there on lap number 2. And here in lap number 3, it is still a battle going on for that second-place position. As we see now, it looks like it has pretty much become a battle for the number 2 position as the young sophomore of Hunter Hart has held pretty much the pace since, well, lap number 1. He's had some pretty stiff challenges coming from Devin Feehan, also from Jared McClure, and it looks like the number 4 now has reeled him in. That is Cole Richardson up to a third-place position, and that was the 712. We've been seeing glimpses of him all race. That is John Glotta, the rookie, the XC2 Pro-Am champion last year, and he is already becoming a little bit of a player as far as trying to get into a top 5 position out here, and that doesn't happen too often for a rookie. Meanwhile, last year's rookie, Hunter Hart, still seeming to be able to maintain the number 2 position, but look at this racetrack. It is starting to really show a little bit of a race face out there and starting to be quite a bit challenging, and look how close the number 712 of John Glotta is with the rest of this field. He's not far from a podium position. Don't be surprised if we see a rookie on the podium for round number 1 here today, the way this youngster is riding. Meanwhile, up front, Walker Fowler, a minute and 15 seconds ahead of the rest of the field here as he makes the final drives here in the closing moments of the VP Fuels Big Buck GNCC, the kickoff to the 46th season of GNCC racing here in 2020. Over that famed Big Buck Creek jump, a little smoother that time around. We've seen a couple of not so smooth jumps for Walker Fowler coming through there, but he was able to capitalize even with those little mistakes. Now, as we see, it looks like the number 4. Look at this. Cole Richardson has now moved into the number 2 spot. He's gotten around the number 7 of Hunter Hart, and he has opened up that gap between second and third place position, and he is laying chase now to Walker Fowler. A minute and 15-second gap is what he is going to have to try to bridge. It was up to a minute and 20. It's down to a minute and 15 seconds now as we roll through these final and closing moments of the 2020 Big Buck GNCC As you can see, not much company coming in behind until it's a little further back. And it looks like even troubles for the number 7 of Hunter Hart as he's now dropped off to a 4th place position. Maybe that's 5th place. I think that McClure's gotten around and Chris Borch have both gotten around for that 3rd and 4th place position. So that puts the young Hart back in the number 5 position. Yep, that is Borch in the number 4 position, and that is McClure right ahead of him in the number 3 position. How's this one all going to pan out? Walker Fowler leads it. Hunter Hart back in 5th now. Stick around. GNCC continues after this.
Coverage of the 2020 Grand National Cross Country Series on MAVTV is brought to you in part by Specialized Turbo E-Bikes. It's you, only faster. Rocky Mountain ATV MC, get ready. And by Yamaha, revs your heart. Welcome back to GNCC on MAVTV. I'm Rodney Tomlin. We're in Union, South Carolina at the Turner Family Farm as we pick things back up here nearing the end of this one. Lap number 4, Walker Fowler, about a minute and 15-second lead over the 2nd place ride of Cole Richardson as Walker Fowler opened up with the lead and has not looked back. Basically 30 seconds, 45 seconds to a minute and 20, almost a minute and 30 seconds at one point. And now starting to see that lead start to shrink just a little bit as the number 4 of Cole Richardson once again into that 2nd place position, matching and just a little bit faster than Walker Fowler, but here late in the race and getting up to speed so late gives Walker a little bit of breathing room to try and carry this one all the way to the checkers from this point on. It will literally be a start-to-finish lead for Walker Fowler as he took the whole shot in this one and has never looked back. And to open up a championship round like that is pretty impressive. Back to the number 3 spot. Now still the number 7 of Hunter Hart, as he's regained that 3rd place position. He dropped back to a 5th place position there at one point. And there's Gallagher still holding very closely in that 6th place position. I'm telling you, keep an eye on this youngster. He could be a threat for a solid top 5, maybe even a podium position finish. If you look, he's not far out of it right now as we are barreling toward the finish line and the checkers itself. Chris Borch, Jared McClure also in that thick of things there in that battle for 3rd place position. So a 4-rider shootout for the final podium spot, and they're all trying to chase down this guy right here, the number 1 of Walker Fowler. They're not going to make it happen, though. Walker Fowler will. This will be win number 55 as he rounds the final few turns and takes the win here at the opening round of 2020 and this big buck GNCC. And Walker Fowler greeted by Mark Notman, his crew chief, and rightfully so. Dad coming up and giving him a pat, and we had a chance to catch up with him after the race.
I just, as soon as that thing fired, I looked over. I was the first one to move, and I was like, man, this is going to be my kind of day. I just, I've been telling everybody all weekend it was a track that you had to have a good start, and you had to have a clean first lap. And, you know, that went really well, honestly, for 3 laps. Everything was going to par, but, man, that last lap, lap traffic, it's the first race, hearts are racing, everyone thinks they're the champion, and, man, every rider I caught, whether they wanted to be out of my way or not, it just, I fought them and fought them. I probably lost a minute that last lap. I know, I think my crew was missing Cole out there. They were doing the time back to 3rd place, so Cole was actually pretty close-ish at the end compared to what the pit boards I was getting. But, you know, overall, like I said, good day. I just need to clean up that last lap. But, yeah, overall, that's a textbook WFR, Land Mills XC Fly Racing, Yamaha, GBC tires kind of day.
I'll tell you what, if Walker Fowler keeps that up, we could be in store for maybe 12 more of these. We'll have to stick around to find out. But Fowler takes a win. Richardson, McClure, Borch, and Hart. We caught up with Richardson.
You know, I don't know what happened on the start with me. Usually we get good starts. It must have had some pre-race jitters, and I think we was actually last off the line, made some moves, and was sitting about, I think, 10th going into the woods, and kind of sat there in 8th for a while, you know, until the 2-lap card came out, and I finally started to kind of get back in the groove. You know, it's been a while for all of us. We can practice all we want, but we can't mimic the race. So, you know, we got into 8th. You know, I started making moves, got past Hunter, and, you know, we saw Bryson on the side of the track, so I knew, you know, unfortunate for him, but it was kind of good for me. So, you know, we ended up making our way up to 2nd, and we got back in the groove, and, you know, we ended up towards the front, and kind of wish we would have seen what we could have done with a good start.
Less than a minute behind Cole Richardson. We saw this battle shaping up for the third place position as Jared McClure and Chris Borch on that new Phoenix Honda Racing ride, taking it to it into the final turns. Here they come. Only a couple of turns left to go, and Chris Borch trying to get that drive on the inside as we watch him from the Yamaha Racing Skycam. Look at this Borch on the inside now, going from one side of the track to the other, and only a wheel's length behind at the finish line. Jared McClure takes the third place position barely over Chris Borch. Wow, what a battle and what a great way to open up the 2020 GNCC season.
Yeah, I mean, laying weight, I had a good start. You know, the Dirtworks kit got me fired up. Baldwin motor was super fast today. First 2 laps there, I got behind Hunter and Devin, past Devin, and I just kind of had a little problem reading the track. I got a little mixed up. Devin got me back, and just couldn't really find my pace in the beginning, man. I was making some mistakes, went backwards, was pumped up a little bit, just wasn't feeling too good out there, and kind of got my head back together, and got caught with Chris and I forget who, Chris and Hunter maybe. We started rolling, and then, you know, I started riding a little harder, and, you know, the bike was working better, and kind of got my head back on straight. And but honestly, it was just a tough day for me. You know, a couple guys had mechanicals, so I mean, third's good, but, you know, I'm not happy. I was expecting to be, you know, up front with these 2 guys trying to battle for the win. So just take it what it is. You know, some guys had issues. Sometimes that comes into play. I'm just glad, you know, bike ran awesome. The quad was dialed, so just looking forward to Florida.
Congratulations to Jared McClure on that third place position. If this first round is any indication as to what this season's going to be like, it's going to be a barn burner, no doubt about it. And Walker Fowler's going to be tough to beat as he opened this one up with the number 11 of Josh Merritt in that second place position. One of the strongest starts I think I've ever seen out of this young rider, and also a good finish as he finished in an 8th place position in round 1. Of course, some trouble for some riders throughout the course of the race. We saw McGill out of this one. Feehan, who was an early top 3 rider and actually battling for second, saw him fall back out of this one as well. And of course, as the race wore on, Cole Richardson using that off-season training to his advantage, moving into the number 2 position, stretching it out over the rest of the field as he laid chase to Walker Fowler. But this battle back here is the one that shaped up. The exciting one for third place position is Chris Borch on that brand new ride, that Phoenix Honda Racing ride, trying to take a podium position finish. But it was Walker Fowler taking the checkers, the season opening win, and win number 55 as we kick off the 2020 season. As we said, here was that exciting finish once again between that number 5 of Jared McClure and the number 3 of Chris Borch. Borch is aching for a podium, maybe even for a win soon. With a ride like that, we'll see if it all pans out for him. This is only round number 1. We've got a whole lot more racing to go as far as 2020 is concerned. Drew Landers, Walker Fowler's teammates on the WFR Landsmill XC ride, takes the win in the XC2 class. And that's pretty much going to wrap it up as far as round number 1 is concerned. I'm Rodney Tomlin. We'll see you from the Wild Boar GNCC in 2 weeks.